So in Newswave, I had talked about an update for a situation that's been ongoing for a couple of months now when it comes to the Wii and the DSi and their ability to re-download games you've purchased. Well, Nintendo gave a response that tells me they kind of want everyone to forget about those systems and those purchases that they made. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the SpawnWave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So the reason I want to bring this up again is because I kind of feel like we're going to be talking about this in the future with a couple of other systems from Nintendo, but it is something that I think should have more attention out there, and it kind of paints that picture that the issues with that all-digital future once again. We can see this, though. This was posted up by Nintendo Life. Nintendo responds to Wii and DSi shop channel outages. And they are quoting GameXplain, who did reach out to Nintendo because this has been ongoing for 2 months now. It was actually at the end of March, they say here on the 23rd, but it was a week before that even, before people started to notice, which, I mean, really tells us how many people are using the Wii and the DSi. They would have gone back and attempt to re-download something only to find out that they could not. But nonetheless, GameXplain reached out, and unfortunately, it still doesn't work, and Nintendo just said, we have nothing to announce. That tells me they are very much aware as to what's going on here with the Wii and the DSi, and they either don't care to fix it, or they're the ones who just shut it down on purpose in the first place. See, because now Nintendo's finally gotten on the ball when it comes to having an account system that should be spanning future generations. With the Wii and the DSi, and then the Wii U and the 3DS, they did not have that, right? You kind of started over with your purchases all over again. And now people with the Switch want to be able to buy Nintendo 64 games or Super Nintendo or Nintendo. And when it's brought up, some people will say, well, how many times do you want to re-buy these games? You should have only had to buy them once. Like, it's just taken this long for Nintendo to finally figure out that, yes, you should have an ecosystem with an account that can follow you going forward with different generation of systems that release. The PlayStation Plus Premium service is rolling out next month. It's already rolled out in certain parts of the world, but if you bought a PS1 classic game that's getting added to this service back on the PlayStation 3 or even on the PSP, you'll just be able to re-download it. Like, there won't be a situation where you then have to re-buy the game, much like people have been doing with Nintendo going from one generation to the next. So to me, it's no surprise that Nintendo would look to shut down the Wii and the DSi. One, I don't think there's that many people accessing those servers anyway, so Nintendo, they're like, it's just kind of a waste of money. But two, they certainly have a big focus now on this Nintendo account system that they've set up. They talk about it with investors a lot about using that going forward with future plans, we'll say, with hardware and their ecosystem, all these different things. And of course, they are now pushing this big subscription service, right? Not selling these retro games individually, but having you sign up to a $50 a year service so you can get Nintendo 64 games, along with online play, DLC, all these different things. But I was reminded of this article once again, and I just wanted to bring it up, from Nintendo Life, where they had talked to a former Nintendo of America employee about eShop closures, saying NCL, that's Nintendo's headquarters in Japan, has been waiting for this day since 2014. That being the eShop closure of the Wii U and the 3DS, and basically putting their legacy online setup behind them. Now, we do know that yesterday they had removed the ability, I think yesterday was the last day, for you to buy things on the Wii U and the 3DS eShop just outright with like a credit card or something. Now you have to get a Nintendo gift card or just like points card from a store, and then you can input it, I think, on the website, then transfer it to the wallet on the Wii U and the 3DS. The point is, it's much more difficult now to buy things. Now, we know next year, like first half, they're going to be shutting these services down completely with the eShop on these systems. And at this time, we believe we'll be able to still re-download these, but Nintendo really hasn't made any concrete announcements around that. In fact, they've mostly just said for the near future, or in the short-term future, we'll still have that ability. I'm looking at the Wii and the DSi right now as most likely an example as to what's going to happen with the Wii U and the 3DS. The Wii U sold 13.5 million systems. The Wii had 100 million, and they cut that out. Like, how long do you think the Wii U's really going to last when Nintendo looks and goes, oh, 5 people are even trying to download stuff right now on the Wii U. Instead, I think the weird one, it will be the 3DS, because that had like 75 million people who bought the system. So there are probably still many people who access the eShop on that 3DS, and the fact that it's such a unique system with what it does with the 3D slider and the dual screen and some absolute classics that are on that system. I mean, the library is massive for it. That will be one where people may make some noise if they, say, go to re-download, especially rare titles. Like you see some games right now on eBay spiking in price on the 3DS. Like the Dragon Quest games are like super expensive right now, and when they start removing the ability to re-download games, I think then you'll really hear about it compared to what we see with the DSi and the Wii. But I do think that's going to happen. And it, once again, just obviously contributes to concerns around the all-digital future that we are on a crash course with right now. And I would assume that Nintendo is going to handle things differently now with this Nintendo account system that they have established here with the Switch. But we kind of were questioning the idea of even backwards compatibility for whatever Nintendo's next system is, let alone this account system that should track purchases from this generation to the next. Just Nintendo's lack of interest to reestablish the ability to re-download your games on the Wii and the DSi is telling enough. I mean, they just want people to forget about what's happening here, and I think for the most part people will. The fact that Game Explain had to go back to them 2 months later and Nintendo was just like, we got nothing to announce. I think eventually it'll just kind of be swept under the rug for now with the Wii and the DSi, but don't be surprised if this pops up again 2 or 3 years from now, when all of a sudden people go to re-download something on their Wii U or the 3DS and they get like a server error, and then Nintendo goes, well, we have nothing to announce. But we'll see how that plays out. But let me know what you guys think about this one down below with Nintendo. Just kind of like trying to back away from the Wii and the DSi, specifically purchases you made during that generation that you no longer have access to through things like the Virtual Console. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.